Good evening. A stark new report from the United Nations Expert Panel on Climate Change has concluded with greater certainty than ever before that human influences are the main cause of climate change and that they are growing. It says the world faces severe and irreversible damage unless the unrestricted use of fossil fuels is phased out by the end of this century. Our environment correspondent George Lee has the details.
Yes, Kate. Well, this new report from the IPCC could be a game changer in the climate debate. It has been drawn up by more than 1,800 authors, 2,000 expert reviewers and 195 different governments. They sifted through 30,000 new scientific papers over the past 6 years. It is certain in its analysis and it is urgent in its call for global action. And it makes it clear the cost, if we ignore climate change, would be catastrophic.
This is the starkest message ever about climate change from the scientific community. They say that if we don't change rapidly, there will be severe, pervasive and irreversible impacts for people and for ecosystems. The level of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere is higher than at any time for more than 800,000 years. And the report says that if we keep going the way we're going, it will cause further warming, as well as long-lasting changes in all aspects of our climate system and widespread and profound impacts affecting all levels of society and the natural world.
There will be impacts on food and water, increased poverty, increased displacement of people, and coastal flooding. Now, as it happens, the window of action is really closing very rapidly, so we have a very short window of opportunity.
The report highlights that economic growth has become more carbon intensive because of the greater use of coal for generating electricity. And it says that the poorest and most marginalised people in the world are the most vulnerable to climate change.
We need politicians, we need leadership and we need media to take this issue seriously, and it can't simply be kicked down the road for the next generation. I mean, the Taoiseach, for example, in September told the UN that we need courage and conviction and consistency in dealing with climate change. Yet a month later he went to the European Union and attempted to have Ireland's position on climate change watered down.
If we don't act now, the cost of not acting will increase over time. It would only shave a tiny portion of global GDP to invest in the necessary technologies. There's technologies available in every sector which can be employed and which can reduce greenhouse gas emissions.
This report will now form the scientific basis for governments and policymakers to negotiate a new global climate change agreement, which will be concluded in Paris next year.
And that big agreement in Paris will be one major negotiation which all governments have to engage in. This is the last word that the scientific community will have on the new climate change deal. The last time they tried to do a deal in Copenhagen just about 5 years ago, it failed. They can't afford to fail this time. There are issues of equity which are raised in relation to the report, issue of the poorest of the poor. And our own Minister for Environment said it is now clear that we must do everything we possibly can to get our emissions down and to do so as quickly as possible. Back to you, Kate.